All right, the next step in my stairs project is to stain them. So today I am going to go through everything that you're going to need, the prep process, and the staining.
Okay, the next thing we're gonna do with our stairs is use this wood filler in order to fill in all of the nail holes, and I'm gonna attempt to cover the, hello Chloe, the sides as well. So, I'm gonna need you to go somewhere else. Yeah, thank you.
For the nail holes, I just used my finger to fill those in, and then I used that small metal scraper tool in order to fill in the corners. Most likely, we'll have a small gap in between the stair tread and the wall. So if you want that to be completely uniform, you're going to need to fill that in with the wood filler. You probably could get away without doing that though. It's just whatever your preference is.
I have finally decided on a stain color that I'm gonna do. But first, before I can go ahead and start priming it, I need to get in and sand down all of the little corners where I had to put the wood filler in. I'm gonna use the Ryobi multi-oscillating tool, and it has a sander feature so it can get nice and into all of those corners.
I cannot express how much I love this tool and all of the different things that it can be used for. So I would highly recommend that. And once you get all of those corners, edges, and the nail holes filled in, then you need to go through it with an actual sander and make sure that those stairs are just nice and cleaned up. And before you put the wood conditioner on, you're going to want to make sure you go through with a shop vac or a vacuum, as well as a cloth that is specific to remove any type of debris from the stairs. And then you can go through with your wood conditioner. Once that process is done, you can get ready to do the actual staining process. Originally, I was going to go for a wood look. Then I changed my mind and I chickened out and I decided just to stain the stairs black, which actually made it just so much easier. But if you're brave enough to do a wood stain, good for you.
Okay, I'm finally ready to stain these stairs, so I'm going to go over everything that you will need for this process. First of all, obviously you're gonna need your stain and something to remove that lid. I am gonna use a pair of disposable gloves so that I don't ruin these nails. You're gonna want a specific cloth that will take off any debris or anything that's built up on your stairs. Even though I've already stained mine, I have been going up and down them, so I need to go through and do that again. I'm going to use one of these tiny foam brushes in order to do the sides and the corners. I am not going to tape the sides. And the reason behind that is I just hate taping for paint projects. So I might regret that decision, but I'm gonna be super careful, and I need to go back over the sides with white paint anyways, at which time I will actually tape the stairs. You're not going to leave your stain on for very long, so after you get it covered, you're going to wipe it off with a cloth after a little bit. So I have these heavy duty shop towels as well as these painting cloths. For the middle section, I'm going to use this stain sponge to do the big sections. I've also grabbed one of my old paint projects so that I can place those towels that have been used or my brushes in here without worrying where I am setting them. All right, I think that is about it, so I'm gonna get started.
So, all of the staining videos that I watched online said you needed to do the first coat and after a few minutes wipe it off just so that the stain doesn't settle too heavy into certain areas over others, just based on the quality of the wood. However, if you're staining it black, looking back, I think I could have just stained it and left it and not worried about having to go back through and remove it. But if you are doing a wood stain, I can definitely see the benefit in wiping it off after the first coat, because it just helps it to not seep in too heavy in some areas of the wood instead of others. And once the stain had dried for a couple hours, I went back through and did the final coat. This process was a little bit longer than I anticipated just because of how long you need to wait in between doing each coat. And so once I got this one on at night, I let it dry overnight. And then the next morning, I went through and I put the sealer on the top. So if your stairs are in a heavy traffic area, as most stairs are, you're going to have to figure out how to not use them for about 2 days. So it was a good thing it's summer because I was able to go out the basement door and then in my sliding glass door in the back, but it would have been a huge pain if it was the winter. For the actual stain, I used a stain sponge, but for the wood conditioner as well as the top coat, I just used a normal brush. The directions on the can say you should use multiple layers and that you should sand in between each layer. I think I just got lazy and I'm kind of over this project, so I only put one top coat layer on and I'm going to see how they hold up. After another day of drying, then it was time to go through, tape the stairs, and start cleaning up those edges. The sides of the stairs, I'd already had to sand down sections of them because there was carpet glue and just the paint was pretty chipped at this point in time. So that's why I wasn't worried about the stain getting on the sides of the stairs because I knew I was going to have to go through and clean it up with white paint anyways. And this project is almost done. The last step is going to be the stair risers. So follow along if you want to see the finished product and more DIY videos.